Hopefully the mic continues to work. If not, it's fine. Welcome to Star Rose. Thank you for joining me today. If you're new, thank you if you have been here before. Today's video, I'm going to actually take this lid off because my coffee spilled, or it fell over in the grass, and just as a precautionary method, and I don't know what's mixed in with this cut grass, I'm going to just drink this with no lid. So a topic that came to me, I think it was an extension sort of what I talked about the last time with the feminine energy and tapping more into the feminine energy. So I just want to discuss what that means. So the feminine energy is just, it's being more in a flow state. I think we're in a reality where society is designed to be very calculated. And I'm finding that we tend to do things in a very calculated manner. A thing that I have, and this could work for a lot of people, so this isn't a diss on this at all. I know that this works for a lot of people. For me personally, there's that thing with, tracking your steps and getting your steps in for the day. And to me, I already overly calculate a lot of my day, a lot of my free time. So that's what actually inspired me to make this video. So the idea of getting the steps in is, I don't want to say it's like a peeve, but sort of. And again, if you do that and that works for you, because I think people can make like a game out of that, and then that's fun. And that's what I think exercising should be. I think it should always be fun. It should always be something that you enjoy doing, because when you don't enjoy it, you're kind of wasting that time. You're kind of doing it just to get it done. And then you kind of forget about it. And then it's hard to kind of really take time to acknowledge that you did a workout if you're just doing it to get it done. And then you go on with your day and it's like it didn't happen, and like it doesn't matter, like it's brushing your teeth, which does matter. But doing a workout is something that's not as common as brushing your teeth. It's something that requires a lot more attention and focus and energy, and it's something to commend yourself for. But it's easy to just, to kind of get caught up in these very robotic, overly calculated things. And this is something I'm actually working on a lot with myself. I'm working on this very thing with myself because I do have a lot of hobbies. I do work a regular job, and I do have a side gig, part-time job that I love, actually. I love the part-time job very much. So my free time, there is some spontaneity in it. There definitely is. Like if I want to come out here to say go walking, if I want to go to the lake, I do those things, and I really enjoy those things. But sometimes I find myself trying to fit things in to my free time to the extent that it could be overly calculated and overly planned. And there's definitely benefits to planning things. But when you're overly planning, overly calculating, life could get very mundane and robotic. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, for me personally, and this works for a lot of people. So if this works for you and you really enjoy having the fitness tracker and tracking your steps, then I commend that. I think that's awesome. For me personally, I think because I'm trying to get out of so much over pre-planning and over calculating my time, whereas even like activities that I do and hobbies that I do that are like enjoyable, or should be more enjoyable and fun and more spontaneous, can tend to feel calculated and overly planned. So extending the idea of the feminine energy idea that I talked about last time's video, in the last video, being more in a flow state. And while you might, I think my new thing to kind of ease into that is to make sort of tentative plans for things that feel good in the moment that I think of them. Like say it's a fitness class. This is what I'm actually going through right now. Say it's a fitness class you want to go to, and you feel really on top of the world about the idea of doing that on a Wednesday. And then say this fitness class is on a Friday. And Friday comes along and you just suddenly, like, you are not in the energy that you were in Wednesday with this idea to do the fitness class. You were really like gung-ho about it. You were excited about it. You were very enthusiastic. It felt like an inspired idea, but maybe it's not. Maybe Friday wasn't the day for it. You planned it, maybe you even scheduled it, but Friday gets there and Friday you are just not feeling it. So something that I really want to work on within myself is that I want to acknowledge that if the day gets here and I've scheduled something like that, that I want to honor myself and how I feel on that day and not do the class and move the class to another day. Because maybe the inspiration, because I trust my inspiration, I trust my inspired ideas, but they come to you when you're in a certain state. You're in a state to receive that kind of inspiration. So maybe on the Wednesday that I received that inspiration, I'm not in the same energy, I'm not in the same state on Friday, that now that inspired idea it no longer feels inspired, it no longer feels like something I want to do on that particular day. So it doesn't mean you just don't do it altogether ever. It means that you just pick another day. You pick another day that you actually feel inspired to do it. And it's another thing with the discipline of continuing the momentum. I wanted to talk about momentum also. Continuing the momentum of creating the videos every week. This is my weekly recording. And as I've discussed in previous videos, I don't always get to use the recordings because sometimes a lot of things go wrong in the environment, or at least they go wrong as it pertains to me trying to record. Today there's people out cutting the grass, and we want that because they maintain this area and it looks absolutely stunning when they do. So, but that's happening today. And I was trying to find a good tree to stand in front of, and one of the last couple times I came out here and was walking, I spotted this and I thought it would be really cool to record in front of this gorgeous field of wildflowers. So it's very summery. I want to keep it very summery. And by the way, I'm probably dripping in sweat right now because I can feel it like literally dripping off my face. So I don't know what it looks like in the video, but we'll find out in post. So with all that said, getting back to what I was saying, I'm just gonna take a sip of my coffee. We can over-calculate things, and there's a distinction with showing up for your goals consistently. And like I said in the last video that I published, when you're really, really, really not feeling something that you planned, even if it's one of your own goals, we don't want to get in the habit of like breaking our own promises to ourselves. But at the same time, if I'm in a very, very low energy, it's not going to serve anybody for me to come out and record a video if I'm in a very, very low energy. There's a very important distinction between not feeling really up to it versus just it's the last thing on earth I want to do. So if I'm not feeling up to it, I'm still going to come out and record because that's a commitment that I made to myself. But honoring the feminine energy, if I'm really, really, really not feeling it, then I'm not going to come out and record. And this, I know I've mentioned the book Atomic Habits in a lot of the videos, and it talks about working out, I believe. I know Aaron Dowdy's mentioned that a lot on his channel. He uses that example from the book about, and other YouTubers have talked about it as well. Just like when it comes to working out at a gym, if you want to be a person that goes to the gym on a regular basis, you could still just drive to the gym because that's keeping up with the habit of going to the gym consistently. But it doesn't mean you have to get there and do the workout. It just means that you're staying true to the goal of being a person that goes to the gym. And I think that's a really good example because it's speaking to what I'm saying right now about that distinction, that fine line between staying consistent with your goals and showing up for yourself, but at the same time honoring when you're truly not feeling it. When you're truly not feeling it to the point where it's like the last thing on earth you feel like doing, not because I don't want to do it. I know even on days when I don't feel like recording, like say I have a day where it's like the last thing on earth I feel like doing, it's not because I don't want to record. I love recording these videos. It's the whole reason I launched my channel. I don't want to record a video when I'm absolutely just in a really, really low state, or in a very, just in a low energy, or a very distracted, conflictual energy. I'll put it that way. But for the most part, I have stayed very consistent with my goal of coming out every weekend. So I record once a weekend. There's only been like a couple times, possibly 3, at least 2, that I actually didn't record. And then there's other YouTubers that have committed to doing a video a day, and I thought about that as well. And it doesn't mean that I'm necessarily gonna publish a video every day, like if I say I do that soon. I think the idea was speaking more in terms of the momentum that I was starting to talk about. I think that the reason that I think that's a good idea for me, for my channel, would be that it would give me a wider range of topics to share, knowing that there's so many mishaps that can occur during my once a weekend recordings, that if I made a commitment and created some serious momentum of recording every single day, not necessarily publishing every single day, maybe down the road, but if I recorded every single day, it would at least give me more to work with, that I could stay on top of the original goal of publishing once a week. So that was like the baby goal. That was like the initial goal of publishing once a week, to then extend that to, doing it more frequently. And again, there's a fine line, because this is all just inspired. I come out here with no real, sometimes a topic will come to me in the car, sometimes the topic won't come to me until I'm actually standing in front of the camera. Sometimes I will start off with a different topic and it's not flowing, and then I just switch gears and see if something else works, and I can, get into a flow state with that topic. And that's definitely happened. So with all that said, that's where momentum comes in. So the importance of momentum when staying true to our commitments to ourselves is, as I said, there's a very important distinction that I want to make between like not showing up versus showing up consistently, even if you're not feeling 100% up to it. Like, think about a time that you agreed to an obligation that kind of sounded like an okay idea. It might not have been like what you really wanted to do, but you still did it anyway, and you're like, oh, I just don't really feel like it. And then you did, and then you ended up having a really good time. It's kind of like that. Like sometimes I'm not feeling it, but it's like, I'm not like, oh my God, I just can't do it. Like sometimes I'm not feeling it, but then I come out here and then a topic will just end up flowing. It could be like, standing out in nature and standing out in the sun. That could really help with that as well. But I just wanted to make the distinction again that I want to make sure that I'm not making excuses to bail on my goals. So I really didn't feel like doing it this weekend, but let's really try next weekend. And I give myself wiggle room too. So I'm not recording this on a Sunday. I'm actually recording this on a Monday. Yesterday I had a very busy day full of things that I had to get done. And I just decided to not record because I figured that would create it would create a situation where I was distracted in the video. Because sometimes if I have a lot of things that I'm looking forward to, ahead of, if I'm looking ahead of, that could really interrupt the flow state that I'm in. Okay, I'm probably gonna wrap it up soon because I'm absolutely sweating profusely. It is really hot out. It's a really hot weekend. This is a really great weekend to actually be at the beach. But I'm probably gonna take a trip to the lake when I'm done here. And I do have a fitness potential obligation that I didn't commit myself to, but it's a tentative. So that's something I wanted to mention is instead of maybe if you can make more tentative commitments of these other types of things, instead of overly overly calculating and overly scheduling yourself, because life can become really robotic and mundane. And then like things that you should be enjoying because they're hobbies, you could find that you're not enjoying them as much or at all. Even if you just find, there was a point when I was doing a lot of things. I had a lot of activities going on. I had a lot of hobbies, and they were all amazing, really fun things. But I was doing too many, and I was very booked, overly booked. So I was like working my jobs, then I had these activities going on, and I just kind of like overbooked myself. And I stayed because I had like two things were actually pre-booked. Like I was actually booked to do those things. It kind of like turned a little monotonous. I mean, something that, the initial rush of trying something new kind of wore off, which is going to happen. And ordinarily I would say just stick with things, but because I got kind of tired because of the fact that I, work a regular job, and I was doing those things weeknights, after work and sometimes on the weekend. It just got to be too much, and it wasn't fun. And I want to tap into more of an inspired energy and just kind of be more balanced. Just be more balanced, because we do need a level of planning. We do need a level of, calculating our time properly. But the feminine energy is really about spontaneity. It's very inspired. It's very whatever in the moment kind of energy. And as an Aquarius, that is really my true nature in a big way, to just kind of go with the flow of what I feel like doing and not going with the flow with what I don't feel like doing. So I just want to make sure that there's a nice healthy balance between staying true to my commitments. Obviously, when it comes to working out and things like that, that's very important to me. But also when it comes to stuff like that, being more flexible with what I'm doing as a fitness routine. That could certainly change. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm just kind of figure out where I can shake things up in a way that I'm still staying true to my standards, my goals, my commitments that I make to myself, but maybe reorganizing them, restructuring them in a way that I can go with the flow with what I feel like doing in a particular day or at a particular time, instead of just forcing myself to do something that I ordinarily would do. Like there have been plenty of mornings, as an example, there have been plenty of mornings where, say, I just wanted to go for a really nice early morning walk, but I'm like, well, I want to get my workout in. That's like the same kind of idea as getting the steps in for the day. It's the same thing. It's my version of that. It's like I want to get the workout in. So it's like I exhaust all this time trying to figure out which workout I'm doing, and then I do the workout, and by the time I'm done with all that and getting ready for my day, it's like afternoon, and it's like, well, I missed out on the inspired idea of going for a really nice peaceful walk in the morning, because there really is a magic to the morning. It's really quiet. I feel like I have a lot of insights, especially on a walk in general, but especially in the morning when there's not a lot of activity in the neighborhood going on. And so I want to just really start to listen to my intuition at times when maybe I'm not listening to it, because I do follow my intuition on a regular basis. But that's a situation where sometimes I'm following more of the schedule sometimes than following my inspiration. And it's very important. My message for today is basically stay true to your commitments, but know the distinction between maybe not showing up for a commitment on a day and honoring yourself and what you truly have going on, but also being flexible and open to changing some of your commitments, some of the things that you have going on. Maybe you can restructure them in a way that's more inspired and more fun, because I really believe that life should be fun, and I don't think things should be overly calculated and structured. And well, we do have a level of planning that we need to do, because we have this thing called time that we follow. It's a system that we follow. And since we follow this system called time, There are times when we have to structure that. There are, we do need to manage that in a certain way, but we don't need to over manage it to the extent that now life is just not fun. It's a series of scheduled tasks, and something that might have once been a hobby that was very exciting and fun to do is now just another scheduled task. So that's something I'm working on for myself. And I also want to just say that I do want to create more videos on a more consistent basis, more than once a week. And I think what that will do is it'll create stronger momentum. And then that way it'll also give me more it'll give me more to work with, so that, like I said, if and when there are interruptions in recording, like I have so many distractions and interruptions because I do them outside to stay out of my comfort zone as a comfort zone hack. Since I do that, and since that is the case, and sometimes I just don't really have a topic that's flowing, or any topics that are flowing, or sometimes there's just other things going wrong in the footage that I don't like. So I think that's something I really want to work on, is it's a plan for the future to make videos more frequently, and that way it'll not only create momentum, like more momentum, and stay more consistent. It'll give me more to work with, so I can have content that I'm really happy with, and I have more to choose from, that I feel, I was able to deliver a message in a very powerful way. So I'm actually gonna end there for today because I am sweating, and it is, I think it's probably like 100 out, like maybe 95, somewhere between 95 and 100. I might take a trip to the lake. I'll probably end this in the car. If I don't, it's Krista Rose. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you have subscribed, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not. And feel free to comment down below if there's anything you want me to cover in a video. If there's any comments that you have about something that I mentioned, feel free to comment that down below. And as always, I will see you soon.